going on, y'all? It's CJ, and it's just me and my pre-twist out here tonight to talk to y'all about Love After Lockup. This episode, it was pretty good. Kind of boring at the same time, but it was pretty good too. Tonight was season 4. No, I'm sorry. It was season 3, episode 39. We are all the way to episode 39. But they called this episode Third Time's a Charm. And we'll talk about why they called it that in a minute. But as always, y'all, make sure that you thumbs up this video. Make sure that you subscribe to my channel. You feel free to comment. Like I said, we can always talk about it, laugh about it, whatever you want to do. But now that we got all that out of the way, we'll go ahead and get started. And I'm just going to go in the order that they showed each couple. It was only really one. No, I would say it was 2 interesting couples tonight. 2.5. But anyway, we'll start with Doug and Rachel. We didn't get a whole lot from them. But anyway, Rachel says, you know, she loves Doug to death, and they are reuniting Doug with Dougie, who is Doug's 12-year-old son, I want to say. I think he's 12. But anyway, he says that he and Dougie's mom were 15 when they got pregnant with him. So they were indeed children. And you can tell just by the way that Doug interacts with Dougie. I mean, he tries to be, you know, I guess authoritative or whatever, but at the same time, it's like a older brother or something. He is not giving me dad vibes at all, and I guess he's not giving them to Dougie either, because Dougie does what Dougie wants to do, and Dougie barely respects Doug. And he doesn't respect Rachel either, but I think he's just kind of grateful to Rachel. So he gives her like a teeny weeny bit of respect just because, you know, she took him out of a weird situation and put him into a better one. So I think he is sort of grateful for that. So that's why he does kind of act like he got a little bit of sense with her. But with his dad, I mean, he is just all the way disrespectful, and most kids would get beat for some stuff like that. But anyway, I'm going off on a tangent. But the son was very emotional when he saw Doug. He ran up and gave him a big hug. He didn't punch him in the stomach like he said he was, which I didn't think he was going to hit his dad anyway. But he gives him this huge hug, and you know, the grandma, or I say grandma, really Rachel's mom and Rachel, they kind of just stand back and watch. And the son was crying and happy to see him. And he then meets Rachel's mom, who is not feeling Doug at all. She feels like, you know, Doug kind of sees Rachel as a come up, which is kind of what I think too. I mean, you found this woman who's an engineer. She has a career. She got a little money, and she has her life together. And here you are with your life completely in shambles and nothing to offer. Yet she wants to be with you and give you everything. He definitely did come up as her mom thinks, and she is keeping her good eye on him. She's not feeling him, and she lets us know that she's not feeling him, which I don't really blame her, because their situation is strange. But at the same time, I mean, you got to look at your daughter too. She went and sought him out, so we can't really just let him off the hook. I mean, you know, we can't put it all on him, I should say. Rachel, she is with the BS also. But that was pretty much them. They went out to eat, and like I said, Dougie was being like extremely disrespectful to his dad. He called him like a womanizer, and he basically was just telling him that he was not gonna respect him. And Rachel just kind of sat back the whole time. She didn't say much of anything. And then Dougie said something about his dad had like 10 girlfriends over the past 3 years. And Rachel was kind of thrown off by that a little bit, but he cleaned it up and was like, yeah, you know, I had to sift him out to find the good one. But I think he is going to be with the BS, and they are not going to last. That's just my opinion, but we will see. So then we go to, well, I'm going to just go to the boring couples first. Then we go to Courtney and Josh. They're going to be second. Josh is wanting to reunite with his grandma. His grandma raised him. His grandma was the one who took him in when his mom, you know, was strung out on drugs, and his dad really wasn't present in his life, nor was he a good influence. So grandma took him in, I guess his grandparents did, and his dad did have visitation until his dad was caught giving him beer. So his visitation rights were revoked. So he was then, you know, just solely belonging to grandma and granddad. But I guess while he was in prison, he was just going through, I don't know, some mental break or whatever. But he wrote his grandma like a really like nasty letter, I guess, telling her how it's her fault he's in jail and how he doesn't love her or hate her or whatever. And it was really hurtful. And she hadn't seen nor talked to him since then. And he feels really, really bad about that. And he and Courtney both think that, yeah, it's time for him to go and make amends with grandma. He needs to apologize, and he needs to let her know that he was just on some BS and he really wants to be in her life and he wants her in his life. Well, he calls her, and you could tell grandma was very skeptical. She was just kind of like, you know, yeah, I know who this is. It's Josh, but kind of like, what do you want? And he tells her that, you know, he wants to see her, and she's kind of skeptical, and she's just like, I don't really know about that. But they do go and see her, and he's nervous about it. He gives her this hug. He gives her this really heartfelt apology that it does seem like he meant it. And, you know, grandma accepted it, and she did get a little emotional in her confessional about, you know, him and what they've gone through. And at the end, it did get a little lighthearted. They were just cool, and she basically likes Courtney, and she was telling him, yeah, this woman really gave up her life for you, and, you know, you need to do right by her. Y'all, you know, y'all need a wedding and blah, blah, blah. So she does like Courtney, and he makes it right with his grandma, and that was pretty much the end of their story. So then we go to Anissa and Jeff. And I call Anissa Angela 2.0 because she is giving me Angela vibes. I mean, Angela and Tony vibes. This is what this story is giving me. Now, we see her getting ready. She's getting ready to go see Jeff. She's putting on makeup and everything. And her friend Kyle is there helping her get ready. And Kyle is also going to help her make the drive down to pick him up. Kyle's very skeptical because, as we know, Jeff has played Anissa twice before, you know, this time. So he feels like it's not going to work. You know, he's just going to be full of it. And she says she's convinced that he's going to show up and everything is going to be good. Now, this is according to Anissa. Now, she tells us they got 45 minutes to get him from the bus station to the halfway house. So they get there. It's daylight when they arrive. So I don't know what time it was that he actually made it there, or the bus made it there, because it was dark. And production, you know, they do this whole dramatical thing where we see all these people getting off the bus. She's sitting there with this corny ass "Welcome Home Jeff" sign, and we don't see Jeff. And it looks like, you know, the bus is pulling off. So it looks like, you know, there is no Jeff. It looks like this is the third time that he has stood her up. Hence, third time's charm. Well, it turns out Jeff was there. I guess Jeff, he said he fell asleep on the bus, and some old lady woke him up, and he got off, but I guess. And so they hug and kiss, and it was just nasty. And Anissa even admitted that he was using her for money the first 2 times around, and it was like she had sent him like tens of thousands of dollars, and she was just really convinced that he was for real this time. And you know, he admitted himself in his confessional that, yeah, I was using her for money. I had no intentions on being with her. Every dollar that she sent me, I spent on drugs. And we can tell because he looks like he probably is still on drugs, but I don't know. He just don't look right to me, and it looks like it's gonna be some mess with him. But anyway, he was kind of threw off a little bit by Kyle being there, and I can tell that he is gonna have like this possessive nature about him, because he did not want Kyle, you know, interacting with her or talking. He's like, everything I ask her, Kyle is answering, or he's interjecting. I mean, they're good friends, so he knows a lot about her, and he wants to get to know you too, because you're with his best friend. So I don't understand why it's such a problem for him, but I guess he's one of those that doesn't feel like a woman can have a male friend. And I guess Kyle is the Tommy of this storyline to Anissa that Tommy was to Angela in their storyline. But anyway, you know, Jeff was just really in his feelings, and he was just being a butthole about it, and they were off to take him to the halfway house. And next, we had Deontay and Nicole. And Deontay, he's just feeling bad about the argument they had last week. Or that we saw last week. And he invites her over to his apartment, Nicole, and it's like a bunch of roses and some candles and lights and all this stuff around. He's trying to set the mood. He has some wine. I guess he was trying to set the mood because he was trying to GTD. For those of y'all that don't know what that is, he was trying to get the draws. So he has more gifts. He has like 2 pairs of Jordans, and he's got some purses and all this other stuff. And he has this huge teddy bear, and underneath the teddy bear was some bags, and in the bags it was like some cheap looking like lingerie. And he wanted her to wear the lingerie, and she was like, I'll wear it, but you can't touch me. And he's like, what you mean I can't touch you? So she was just like, I'll put it on, but you can't touch me, and if you touch me, you know, is a wrap. So he's like, okay. And she tells us that she used to dance for people in prison, and so he asks her, can she dance for him, you know, wearing the lingerie or whatnot. And she does. She makes him sit on his hands, and he just takes his shirt off. I mean, he is so damn creepy to me. It's just, he is just so creepy to me. But he's sitting there looking like a fool. I mean, his eyes are like huge. He's just sitting there, sitting on his hands, and she grinding on him, doing a little number or whatever. And so then she says, you know, I feel stupid doing this with me and my little boobs and all this other stuff. And so she, in the heat of the moment, gets him to agree to pay for her a boob job. And so she was like, I'm not having sex with you until I get my boobs done. And so that was just another way for her to get something else out of this clown. And he was like, she was done after that, and he was begging. I mean, he was just like begging for the booty. He just looked ridiculous on his knees and everything. So the next day, he's taking her to get her hair done. He was in his feelings yet again because she made him take her home that night. She didn't want to sleep there. And I don't blame her necessarily, because I know all night it would have just been him pressuring her to have sex with him. She don't want to have sex with you, obviously, and yet you're still showering her with gifts like a fool. But that's neither here nor there. If you want to spend your money, I mean, it's your money. But she's not going to give you anything in return, and you out here looking stupid. But she's annoying me because she's trying to act like she just has these morals about her, like, you know, I just got out, I'm not about to sleep with you right away. But on the other hand, you have no problem at all taking these gifts from this man. Everything he gives you, everything you ask for, and he's giving it to you, you take it with no problem. I know a lot of females out there like that. I'm not one of them. I couldn't do it, but anyway, you know, he was mad, you know, that he feels like, okay, I think that, you know, you're running game. I'm gonna just keep this in the back of my mind, you know, that you don't want to sleep with me, and yet you still taking her to go and get her hair done. And I know those extensions that she was getting put in her hair at that shop was not cheap. I'm gonna just say that. And she meets a friend there, a friend that she was in prison with, who got out a couple of days before her. They meet there and they're talking about, you know, Nicole's sex life. When was the last time she had sex? And she said about a week ago. So I'm guessing she had it with a woman behind bars. And she was just saying, you know, she's not going to sleep with Deontay anytime soon. And she, as a matter of fact, thinks to call up her ex, her prison bae, who she was in a relationship with while in jail. And she wants to meet up with her. I guess they're going to have a girls' night out. And she calls her to meet up with her. And so when they were done at the salon, she tells the hairdresser that her man is going to pay for this. He's out buying her a dress right now. He'll be back, and when he gets back, he'll pay. So the hairdresser was like, okay, well, y'all can go have a seat over there, and we're going to wait on him to come back so I can get my money. And so that was pretty much where they ended. And lastly, we had Stanley and Lisa. You know, Stanley, another one in his feelings, because he feels like Lisa wasn't as affectionate with him as he expected her to be. And I think a lot of it just played into, you know, her not necessarily feeling him in the way that he thinks that she does. And then, you know, the call from her son that got her upset, and Stanley kind of blowing it off. Stanley was like, okay, he'll be all right, you know, when we gonna get to this basement and do these things we used to talk about on the phone. You know, he trying to get off. That's all that's on his mind. He wants, you know, affection. He wants sex. He wants everything that they talked about. And that's all Stanley can think about. Meanwhile, you got Lisa. She's stressing about her son. And she kind of made me side-eye her a little bit, because she tells Stanley, you know, well, I am upset with you because I feel like you're not understanding my situation, and you didn't even ask, you know, me if, you know, he could come stay here. You know, you didn't think to ask me, you know, well, could he come live here? And Stanley was like, no, you know, he doesn't want that 22-year-old man that he does not know moving into his home. He knows Lisa's family is, you know, problematic, and they come from a life of crime, and he's trying to get her away from that. He's not going about it the right way, true enough, but at the same time, I do understand him not wanting that man in his house. So, long story short, they get into an argument, and she tells him, well, I know for a fact that if the shoe was on the other foot, if it were your children, you would not be acting like this. He was like, well, it wouldn't be my children because I raised my children right, unlike you. And I don't know if that was the wine talking or if Stanley just got fed up real fast. You know, old people don't got patience. And I think he probably was just like, no, this broad, she think that I'm about to support her family. She got me messed up. So she gets mad and she takes her stuff and she says that she's going to stay in the hotel. And Stanley was like, you know, whatever, that's fine. He was a little tipsy. I think he over there knocking down the wine glass, spilling wine all over the table. And so she leaves, and that was the end of that. And they show us a clip of like the upcoming season, and some hands are gonna be thrown. I don't know who's gonna be fighting, but it's gonna be some fights. It's gonna be some police being involved in some stuff. It's definitely gonna be action packed. It looked like Deontay is finally gonna get fed up with Nicole, and he's gonna kick her to the curb. Maybe, hopefully, but I don't know. But that was the episode. If I left out anything that y'all want to talk about, y'all know, go ahead and drop it down in the comments below. And with that being said, I'm out of here. Y'all have a great rest of the weekend. Oh, and I'll probably see those of you who watch, I'll see y'all Sunday, or Saturday and Sunday. Saturday for Love and Marriage Huntsville, and Sunday for Real Housewives of Potomac. So you guys have a great weekend, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. Bye.